Hello and welcome back guys to our Law on Obligations and Contracts series. So this is our reformation of contracts na video. So this is based from the Civil Code Article 1359 to 1369. So before tayo mag-start, please subscribe to our channel to alert you on the release of upcoming videos. And also don't forget to like this video if you think this is helpful. And also, to test yourself, you may sign up on the link below and it's free. You just need an email address, okay? So, nandito na tayo ngayon sa topic ng reformation of contracts. So, what is reformation of contracts? So, by the way, this is another short video dahil short lang yung chapter na ito, as well as the next video which is interpretation of contracts. So, ayan. After nun, doon na tayo mapupunta sa mga different defective contracts. So, doon mas magiging detailed ulit at siguro magiging mahaba-haba ang mga susunod nating videos doon. Okay? So, ayan. Reformation of contract. It is a remedy whereby a written instrument to the contract is amended to conform to the true intentions of the parties. Okay? So, nandito, yung word na amended, babaguhin natin yung written instrument that represent the contract. So, by the way, sabi natin last time, di ba? Ang kontrata, hindi necessarily written. Kung sakaling meron man tayong written contract, yung kasulatan na yun, hindi yun yung mismong kontrata. Yun lang yung written instrument na nagre-represent doon sa kontrata. Okay? So, ayan, babaguhin natin yung written instrument if hindi ito tumutugma, okay, doon sa talagang or totoong napag-usapan natin or totoong napagmitan ng minds natin, di ba? So, yun yung sa consent, meeting of minds. Okay? So, yun yung reformation. Okay? Ang nire-reform, hindi po contracts actually. Ang nire-reform talaga is yung written instrument. Okay, that represents the contract. So, it's not the contract itself being reformed. It's the instrument that represents the contract. Tatandaan nyo po yan. Okay? So, what are the requisites of the reformation of contract? So, we have 3. This is based on Article 1359, Paragraph 1. So, number 1, there must be a valid contract. Okay? So, meaning to say, meron tayong COC tulad nung nabanggit natin last time, di ba? So, that is consent, object, and the cause. So, sana meron yung tatlong essential requisites na yan para maging valid contract siya. Okay? Pero may mga certain contracts that require additional essential elements such as real contracts na kailangan ng delivery and formal contracts na kailangan ng specific, okay, formality. Okay? So, number 2, the written instrument, yung kasulatan that represents the contract does not conform to the true intentions of the parties. Okay? So, hindi siya tumutugma. Okay? May napag-usapan tayo, pero nung nakasulat na sa papel, hindi siya parehas. So, anong masusunod? Siyempre, kung ano yung napag-usapan talaga natin. Kung ano yung nagkaroon ng meeting of minds tayo. Okay? Kung ano yung idea na nagkaroon tayo ng meeting of minds. Hindi yung kung ano yung nakasulat dahil formality lang yon. Kung matatandaan nyo sa accounting subject nyo, meron tayong tinatawag na substance over form. Okay? So, mas masusunod pa rin yung substance over the formality. Parang ganun din dito sa contract. Wherein kung ano talaga yung napag-usapan, kung ano talaga yung napagmitan ng minds natin, yun yung masusunod. Okay? So, number 3, the non-conformity, yung kung bakit hindi nag-conform yung written instrument sa totoong intention is due to fraud, mistake, or inequitable conduct or accident. So, yun yung mga pwedeng maging reason kung bakit hindi nag-conform. So, by the way, nabanggit din natin last time na yung, for example, yung mistake in fraud ay one of the vices of consent. At kapag merong presence ng vices of consent, anong nangyayari sa kontrata? Nagiging voidable contract po siya. Pero, anong pagkakaiba nito sa isang contract na masasubject to reformation at sa isang contract na magiging voidable, which is ultimately subject to annulment? Ano pong pagkakaiba nun? So, tignan natin in the next slide. Okay. So, kapag ang pinag-uusapan natin ay reformation of contract, yung mistake, fraud, or inequitable conduct, nangyayari siya dito sa gitna. Okay, so tingnan natin yung first ano natin dito, yung first illustration natin dito. So nakikita nyo dito, consent of parties. So yung consent, wala tayong problema sa pag-a-acquire ng consent. Nagkakaroon tayo ng proper meeting of minds and eventually magkakaroon tayo ng perfected contract. However, okay, yung perfected contract natin, hindi siya nagko-conform with the written instrument. So hindi siya parehas dito. So dito nagkakaroon ng mistake, fraud, or inequitable conduct. Dito nagkakaroon, okay? Kaya may X tayo dito, okay? So dito nagkakaroon ng mistake and fraud. Kaya hindi nagtutugma tong perfected contract na napag-usapan at yung written instrument. So ang tamang remedy dito ay reformation of instrument, okay? So next, ito naman yung kung saan nagkakaroon ng voidable contracts. Okay, so umpisa pa lang. So, ang tamang remedy dito ay annulment. So, pagdating natin ng voidable contracts, in detail, i-discuss natin itong mga to, itong annulment, ano ba ang effect ng annulment ng isang contract. Okay, so nagkakaroon ng fraud, mistake, or inequitable conduct dito pa lang. Okay, dito pa lang sa consent ng parties. Okay, so although magkakaroon tayo ng perfected contract, yun nga lang merong defect yung consent natin. Okay, kasi nagkakaroon dito. Dito yung timing ng fraud, mistake, fraud, and inequitable conduct dito. Okay, so it doesn't matter na dito kung nagkakaroon pa man ba dito kasi ang ano ng voidable contract, okay, ang parang kumbaga tinitignan natin is dito na timing, yung sa pag-a-acquire pa lang ng consent, okay? Or yung pag-meet pa lang ng minds, okay? So, although nagkakaroon ng meeting of minds, pero may defect yung meeting of minds, okay? So, ano yung mga defect na yun, okay? Pag-aaralan natin yan pagdating ng voidable contracts na chapter, okay? So, yan po ang pagkakaiba ng mistake, fraud, and inequitable conduct in reformation of contracts versus mistake, fraud, and inequitable conduct sa isang voidable contract. Okay? So, ayan. So, illustration tayo para mas maintindihan natin. Okay? Kung ano ba itong reformation of contract. So, S sold to be a lot with 10 hectare area. Okay? However, through mistake of the clerk, yung nagta-type nung ano nila, nung kasulatan, okay? Their deed of sale, ano to, showed, okay? Showed, dapat showed, okay? Their deed of sale showed 1 hectare area only. Okay? So, ang nangyari, yung totoong napag-usapan na 10 hectare area, hindi siya nag-conform with the, tawag dito, the written instrument. Okay? So, yung sinabi kong concept kanina, substance over form tayo, ibig sabihin, masusunod pa rin kung ano yung real intention ng parties. So, pero, syempre, pangit naman kung yung mismong deed of sale natin, iba yung itsura. Kaya, ang proper remedy dito ay ipa-reform natin yung contract. Kasi may possibility na nung na-type na ni clerk, hindi na napansin ni SNB na mali pala yung nakasulat na hindi 10 hectares, kundi 1 hectare lamang. Okay? So, may possibility na ganun. Okay? So, itong example natin ito, nagkakaroon tayo dito ng mutual mistake. Okay, resulting from the mistake of a third person. Okay, so kaya binanggit natin yung both Article 1361 and 1364 dahil pwede siyang mag-apply dito sa specific illustration na ito. Okay, so inuulit ko in this this contract is perfectly valid. Okay, however, ang merong defect, syempre hindi yung contract. Ang merong defect yung written instrument natin that represents the contract. So, inuulit ko, ang nire-reform po natin is yung written instrument, hindi po yung mismong contract. Okay? So, ayan. Pag pina-reform natin yan, gagawa ng bagong deed of sale which will represent the true intention na this time. Instead of 1 hectare, magiging 10 hectare na. Okay? So, another illustration tayo. Pero this time, hindi mutual yung naging mistake, kundi ang reason ay fraud. Okay? So, pwedeng maging fraud ang reason kung bakit hindi nagkakaroon ng tamang conformity yung written instrument to the true intentions of the parties. Okay, so for example, S sold to be a lot with 10 hectare. Okay, with 10 hectare area with a right of repurchase after 5 years. Okay, so meron daw siyang right of repurchase. Ibig sabihin, ibebenta muna ni S kay B yung lot na yan, yung land na yan, pero after 5 years, meron na siyang right to bilihin ulit from B. So, ayan, mababalik sa kanya yung lupa after 5 years pa pero. However, through fraud, okay, B made it appear that the deed of sale is an absolute sale. Pag sinabi nating absolute sale, ano yan, magiging pagmamay-ari ni B yung land na yan unconditionally, ibig sabihin, wala nang chance para mabalik yun kay S. Kasi pag absolute sale, magiging absolute owner si B. Okay, therefore, pag sinabi nating absolute sale, walang right of repurchase. Okay, so since the contract is in English language, S was not aware that the deed is different from their real agreement. So ayun nga, through fraud of B, okay, hindi nag-confirm, okay, yung deed of sale natin to the real intention of the parties. Okay, so in this case, in this reformation, okay, i-compare natin dun sa first illustration. In the first illustration, both S and B may ask for reformation. However, in this case, okay, ang pwede mag-ask ng reformation ay yung injured party. Siyempre, ang nag-fraud or, di ba, nag-employ ng fraud ay si B. So, hindi siya pwedeng mag-ask ng reformation. Ang pwedeng mag-ask ng reformation ay yung kabilang party in this case. Okay? Kasi hindi mutual eh. Hindi mutual yung fraud. Siyempre, hindi mo naman matatawag na fraud kapag naglokohan pareho, di ba? Okay, so ayan, usually ang definition ng fraud, pero yun yung definition pagdating sa pag-acquire ng consent, yung should have not been employed by both parties. Okay, pero saka na lang natin i-discuss yun. Okay, so ayan, inuulit ko, in this case, ang pwedeng mag-seek ng reformation is hindi si B, yung kabilang party. Okay, dahil si B, siya yung nag-employ ng fraud, kaya hindi siya pwedeng mag-seek ng reformation. Okay, so next example, next topic, so contracts that cannot be reformed. Okay, so may mga exemptions pa rin ang reformation. May mga certain contracts na hindi pwedeng ma-reform, such as number 1, simple donation inter vivos wherein no condition is imposed. Pag sinabi nating donation inter vivos, this is a donation made during the lifetime of a person. So pag nag-donate ako, that is what you call donation inter vivos. So ayan, paano naman kung hindi during the lifetime? Madodonate yun after death, okay? So, or upon death, okay? So, that's what we call donation mortis causa, okay? Pero, yung topic na yan, mas mapag-aaralan nyo yun pagdating ng, ng taxation sa estate tax, okay? So, ayan. Number 2, will, okay? So, will, last will and testament, mga ganon, okay? And number 3, when the real agreement is void, okay? So, yun nga, kasi kung kung hindi naman talaga nakabuo ng contract, wala tayong i-reform, di ba? So, parang kumbaga wala tayong magiging basis. Kasi ang tinitingnan natin lagi is yung written instrument ba, tumutugma ba siya doon sa contract. Pero kung yung contract ay void, meaning wala tayong pagbebasean kasi non-existent yung contract. Okay? Wala tayong pagbebasean ng tamang, kumbaga, ng tamang, tawag dito, ng tamang kung ano man yung napag-usapan ng mga parties. Okay? So, ayan. Okay. When a person cannot ask or cannot seek reformation. Okay. So, nabanggit na actually natin yung isang time or isang situation or scenario wherein a person cannot seek reformation. Yung kanina, wherein ang example natin ay siya yung nag-employ ng fraud, si B, di ba, yung buyer, okay? Siya yung nag-employ ng fraud, so hindi pwede na siya yung mag-seek ng reformation in that case. Okay, pero in addition to that, may mga pwede pang persons na hindi makapag-ask ng or makapag-seek ng reformation. So, a party who enforces the instrument representing the contract cannot subsequently ask for its reformation. Okay? So, para mabigyan ng linaw, so meron tayong illustration, parang kahawig niya yung kanina. So, S unconditionally, pero this time baliktad. S unconditionally sold to B a lot with 10 hectare area. However, through mistake, okay, the deed of sale appears to be a sale with a right of repurchase after 5 years. Okay. Both parties didn't notice the deed because they didn't bother reading it at all. Okay, so ayan, in truth, okay, in substance, ito po ay isang absolute sale. However, their instrument reflects a sale with a right of repurchase after 5 years. Okay, so if ever after 5 years, okay, si S, bigla niyang nabasa yung instrument, meron pala akong right of repurchase dito ha. I-exercise ko nga, okay? So, tinatry niyang i-exercise, okay? So, ayun, ine-enforce niya yung nakasulat doon sa written instrument. Pero in fact, wala yun talaga sa original na napagkasunduan natin, di ba? Okay, so yun ang nangyari. Okay? So in that case, from the time na in-enforce niya yung nakasulat sa contract, hindi niya na pwede, hindi na si S na nag-enforce ng contract, hindi pwedeng subsequently ipa-reform or mag-seek siya ng reformation ng contract. Okay, hindi niya pwedeng ipa-reform yun. Okay, so nakay binalang, okay, ang right to reformation. So inulit ko, from the time na, okay, originally, both sila, dahil ito naman ay mutual mistake, both sila pwedeng mag-seek ng reformation originally, pero nung si S, in-enforce niya yung nakasulat doon sa written instrument, from that time, okay, nawala na yung kanyang right to ask for the reformation of the contract. So, ibig sabihin, maiiwan na lang or tanging si B na lang ang pwedeng makapag-reform ng contract. Hindi pwedeng subsequently ipa-reform ni S yun, okay? So, yun yung ibig sabihin nung binanggit natin kanina, okay? So, yun yung mga times na hindi pwedeng mag-ask ng reformation yung mga parties sa isang contract, okay? So, kanina nabanggit din natin yung mga, 'di ba? Nabanggit natin na kung sino yung mga pwedeng mag-seek ng reformation. Pero in addition to those na mga nabanggit natin, sino pa ba yung pwedeng mag-seek ng reformation? Okay, kapag namatay yung mismong involved na party doon sa contract, syempre, bringing one of the characteristic of a contract which is relativity of contract, sabi doon, 'di ba? The contract takes effect upon the parties, their assigns, and their heirs. Okay, so ayan. Reformation may be ordered at the instance of either party. Okay, so generally yan. Or his successors in interest. Okay, if the mistake was mutual. Otherwise, upon petition of the injured party or his heirs and assigns. Okay, so kung makikita nyo dyan, besides from the parties actually involved in the contract, pwedeng yung kanilang successor in interest or yung heirs, di ba? Okay, so yan ang mga additional person na pwedeng mag-seek ng reformation in case na namatay yung isa dun sa mga parties or both parties namatay. Okay? So, yun na yung last topic natin under the reformation of the contracts. Okay? So, please consider subscribing if you find our law and obligations and contract series helpful, and also to alert you on the release of upcoming videos. Okay? And don't forget to like this video. Okay? So, test yourself. Click on the link below. And coming up next will be the interpretation of contracts. So, see you at the next video.